Good evening everyone, welcome to FGM eCast as we present the ANZCAR Truck Series Monday night, as always here for us on FGM eCast. I'm joined by Carl with you, just getting himself settled into the booth, but we are here tonight at Indianapolis for, what have we got now? 4 rounds to go beyond this one, so the last 4 rounds beyond tonight. And it is an ever so close run at the top here. Just do a quick run through the point standings as we get into this one. We've got 11 minutes to go. Let Carl get himself settled in, but it is Edward Foster who is currently leading points, updated over the week as well. So Edward Foster the leader, 28 points in front of Jason Martin, followed by Josh Mickelmore as our top 3 drivers. Then we've got James Robbie, 62 points behind Foster, with Nathan Clark 76 points behind him. Daniel Heddersheed 83 points behind, with Matty Raymond, Mr. Sheen 85 points behind, Norman Clark 93 points behind. And then we head down to an equal stead between Ruben Phelps and Gary Wellman, 102 apiece. Quite close down there to get into the top 10, in fact, with Christopher Finlay on 104 and Michael Skurlock on 106 points behind our series leader Edward Foster. So things closing up into the top 10. And Carl with you, good evening. And just struggling with a little bit of audio there with Carl, so we'll just muck around with that while we can. So just watching the last 9.5 minutes of practice here. We'll be back with you in just a moment.
Good evening, everybody. I hope you're all well.
Alrighty, we're back now. There's Carl. Oh, sorry about that there. Just a little audio issue. We've got it rectified very quickly.
Yeah, good to be back and good to be here. Sorry about the late moment there. Yeah, we are here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, of course, a favourite of many drivers. Fantastic track and, well, historic track as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to this one tonight. The championship reasonably close at the top. We've got a full cast of drivers here as well. I think there's around about 32 in the service, so a good solid run tonight. And I think the top 3 drivers will be very much looking forward to trying to increase or solidify their position inside that top 3.
Yeah, it's going to be important for the championship tonight, and well, every race is important for championships, but it's going to be a tricky one tonight. Of course, the super speedways can have a nasty way of delivering some not so sweet justice to some people. It's a little bit of a lottery sometimes, and Indianapolis is one of those tracks where things can go very wrong very quickly, especially when you're leading a championship.
Yeah, most definitely. So we'll see how this one pans out tonight. As I said, we've got now about 8 minutes to go. Edward Foster, current leader there. Just looking at some new paint schemes as well. Ryan Jones there sporting a new livery. Interstate batteries, a little bit different for the usual Ryan Jones blue that we normally see, or purpley blue that we normally see. So he's trying to catch us out in the 111. And we've got Cade Donnelly as well. Currently second fastest, in fact, Cade Donnelly with a 52.53. Ryan Jones fastest on track. So could be a bit of a mix-up tonight.
Yeah, watch out for Sim Boys. They've been fast at all the super speedways so far this year. They've been showing some great improvements, and we've seen they've taken out victories at Daytona as well as Talladega with Cade Donnelly and Gary Wellman.
Yeah, indeed. They've been knocking on the door, that's for sure, all year round with those couple of wins. Mitch Motorsport, of course, been extraordinarily strong. We saw Aidan Schultz take out a win a couple of weeks ago. And there's plenty. Jaden Russell, another one of those who's just been knocking on the door. So plenty of options here in terms of who might take out a race win tonight.
Yeah, watch out for people that, you know, that there are some super speedway specialists out there as well. Some people are very quick on them, that have a little bit more experience just working their way through the draft, and tend to not to show up too much early on, but then a little bit later in the race you'll see them just working their way up there and then making the jump towards the end of the stints.
Indeed we will. Gary Wellman's taken out a race win this season, the 45 there. So, yeah, plenty to go on tonight. There's Edward Foster, current series leader in the FGM E-Cast, if you don't mind. 53 entry. Behind him, Andrew Dyson, winning almost everything last week. He fell one place short of a clean sweep across all three ANZCAR series last week at taking out a win at Road and Lantern, a second place there, but of course winning our race as well at Michigan. So he's doing extremely well at the moment too.
Yeah, he's been really improving on the ovals as well. Dyson is one of those drivers, as he said, not much experience on oval racing, more so with the left and right turns of track racing, but he has come on leaps and bounds with the round stuff. A lot of help from his teammates as well with that. And got to say, same for people like Jaden Russell and Hobson, who have been out there a few times this year. Those guys are definitely track specialists, but have been doing a great job on the ovals as well. Really, really improving and showing what you can bring there, and what a little bit of a different racing experience can gain as well. We've seen it a number of times where people that are track experts come to a short track and they bring something a little bit different, take a bit of a different line, and can sometimes prove that that actually works.
Yeah, most certainly. So it's certainly going to be full-on race tonight. This track, what are we expecting to see here, Carl? A slightly different event to what we normally run on.
Yeah, look, 75 laps of Indianapolis is a fair amount of place of track to cover as well. 4 kilometres long, so as you can tell, that's quite a distance. We'll probably be looking at 2 stops, I'd say, on fuel load, because you're going to be using quite a bit of fuel around here, because it is almost flat out. Obviously, the trucks are a bit different to the Cup cars, and of course, most famously, the Indy cars that we are so familiar seeing coming around this place. The truck's a little bit lighter on the rear axle, a little bit less power, of course, but very little downforce, and as I say, very little weight over that rear axle, so they can get a little bit squirrely sometimes, especially coming out of turns 3 and 4, those final set of corners. And that's where you've got to be careful as you come onto the start-finish straight. Very narrow start-finish straight, Indianapolis. It catches a lot of people out. Those walls are very close together, and it's very easy to have a big crash down there.
Yeah, and even the pit entry as well, obviously, with the where that's positioned, can also catch some drivers out too, so they're going to have to be careful on their way into pit lane.
Yeah, and don't forget pit exit as well. Pit exit is, it's quite tight here, and you're going on the inside of the oval. You've got to go through turns 1 and 2 on pit exit as well, and it's not exactly high grip surface, so it's easy to dip a wheel onto the grass, and then all of a sudden you're spearing yourself up the track, and you're going to get involved in a very big wreck.
Yeah, absolutely. You and I participated in an IndyCar race here not that long ago where we saw that happen, in fact, so it is one to watch out for. That exit there, you just see Ryan Jones just moving away from it a little bit there. It's very easy to get caught out on the exit of the corners. Those walls going to come into play most certainly during those early laps while the drivers are feeling out how much grip they've got. Let's have a quick look at the weather conditions here on track tonight. 37 degrees Celsius, so a reasonably warm night. Those right-hand tyres are going to cop a pounding, and we will see who manages best.
Yeah, looking after the car is going to be super important tonight. Just keeping it clean, keeping it ready to go can be vital here. If you keep a truck in a clean condition till when the final lap comes, you can sometimes find yourself in a draft and then crossing the line in first place. It's all about keeping the car ready for that final leap, of course. It's not the amount of laps you lead, it's just the final lap that you lead that is important here.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the most important thing. That last lap, you can't do much without winning across the start-finish line on the last lap of the race.
That's it. And experience is going to be something to look for as well. Watch out for those experienced, seasoned drivers in this race, because as much as you will see some drivers that are slightly less experienced on ovals, say, having some good speed, the experience counts for a lot on a track like this with a race. The race conditions are very different to overall pace. You might see some drivers set some great laps and some good speed, despite not having maybe the most confidence and the most experience out on the track. But when it comes to the race, those experienced drivers tend to be able to watch out for accidents a little bit better. They tend to be able to position their trucks in a slightly better position towards the end and use that to their advantage.
So we've got a minute 35 left here before we get into qualifying. If you're just joining us for the first time, thank you very much. As Jason Martin there gets very, very loose. But it is a close qualifying here, so solo truck qualifying that we will get underway in just over a minute's time. And you do get 2 laps to set your fastest lap here. Second lap should be the faster of the 2. So we'll jump on board with a selected driver at the start of that and get them to take us around. Carl will obviously tell us about this track as we do get through that lap and get into qualifying in just under a minute.
Yeah, that's it. And I mean, I could try and tell you all about the track in what, about 52 seconds? That is a lap, but I don't think even me talking at my fastest pace could manage the history of Indianapolis in that time.
No, absolutely not. I think this is the track that I saw that they've taken a core sample of, so they've drilled right down through all of the different layers of the track, and there's something like 12 or 13 different layers that tell the history of this circuit. A very important and, of course, famous historic place in American motorsport. It's not as wide as people think. You can see there, good image on screen, just how narrow this track actually is. So probably won't see too much more than 3 wide, and if it is 3 wide, they'll be very, very game into turn 1, that's for sure.
Yeah, look, you can get about 4. You can sometimes get up to 5 wide if you're very, very brave. But those walls, are very, very close to you. And when you're traveling at speeds of, up to 200-300 kilometers per hour, they are very close indeed, and it is just a millimeter of oversteer, and you're going into them, and you're going to have a big, big wreck.
Absolutely, you are. So here we go into qualifying. There's 5 minutes on the clock, but we are looking at 2 laps from each driver, and that is all they will get to set their fastest time. It must be a clean lap as well, and we're going to be a little bit indulgent here. We're going to jump on board with Edward Foster in the FGM eCast Atari Autosport entry, our current series leader, and we're going to let him take us for a lap around this famous circuit.
Yeah, there's not many circuits that are more famous than Indianapolis, and not many places where a driver would want to win more as well. It is part of the Triple Crown, of course, Indianapolis, Monaco, and Le Mans 24. The 3 races that drivers want to win. Only one taking out the Triple Crown so far, and that is Mr. Hill, of course. A very, very great driver. Damon Hill's father, of course. Graham Hill. Fernando Alonso trying to get that Triple Crown. Juan Pablo Montoya very close to getting it, of course. He just needs to win the Le Mans 24. Alonso needs to win the Indy 500. The track itself got the name the Brickyard back in 1909 when it was paved with bricks. Only a yard remains now on the front straight, which we will be coming to very shortly with Mr. Foster. As you can see here, as we come across the line, there is a yard of bricks that we cross right now. And that's where the Brickyard gets its name from. Into turn 1, lifting off a little bit. These corners are much tighter than you expect. You've got to respect them. You've got to just keep your car nice and solid through. They're getting on the power just very gingerly. Down again once more. You don't want to drop too low below the actual line there, because there's not too much banking here, but the banking it has will disturb the car. Onto the long back straight. We have 4 kilometers of this track. A fairly long one indeed. Into turns 3 and 4 now. Again, dipping the car in gently. Back end just steps out a little bit fast, so you can see a bit of correction getting up towards the wall. That's going to be your quickest way out. You just want to ease the car through, not scrub speed off. Into the final corner. Watch out for the wall on the exit. Comes up close. You can see how tight it gets now between the 2 walls as we come down the start finish straight once more. Cross over the yard of bricks again, putting Foster up into 4th place. This second lap is going to be the one where he's going to set his quickest time, I would say.
Absolutely good coverage there, Carl. Thank you very much for taking us around this absolutely famous circuit indeed. That yard of bricks, a thing that stands out to most who know this track. And Edward Foster there putting in a good lap, getting him into provisionally P4 on his first lap around. He'll be looking to improve that. Wanting to start up the front here, I reckon we might be in for a little bit of mess in the mid-pack. with the track temps and those tight exits. Don't be too surprised if there aren't many cars or trucks left at the end of this race. We haven't scrubbed that number off the right-hand side of the truck. It is very, very easy to misjudge into turn 3 particularly and grab the wall and out onto the main straight. So we'll see how we go there as Foster crosses the start-finish line to finish his final lap and has maintained his position in P6.
Andrew Dyson at the moment leading qualifying with Jason Martin just behind him. A bit of difference between qualifying times, so 52.6 for Dyson, 52.9 for Foster. That's quite a big gap here at Indy. People can find little bits and tricks just to get the car going a little bit faster, keep it a little bit more settled. It's all about keeping that high speed and ultimate pace. Noddy Tompkins has had a bit of an incident getting into the wall, so he's got some damage. We've got Micklemore out there at the moment as well. Josh up into P5 at the moment. So good run there for the Mitch Motorsport team and Josh Micklemore. Just seeing who else is about to go around. I think at the moment we've got Gary Wellman on screen.
Yeah, he's going to have to abort this one. He's going to have to abort this one. He's just entered it into the wall, so that'll be all she wrote for him. We'll jump on with the Crank Esports entry. 06 Ruben Phelps, the Crank Esports boys, donning the new truck liveries for the team tonight, and another fantastic effort there. They look much improved, if I must say so. The orange and black, a bit of a favourite of mine, so looking fantastic in that new livery. Ruben Phelps is currently sitting down in 15th position in the 06. His teammate up in 6th position, so he'll be looking to improve so that he can get a bit of a run with Aidan Schultz tonight. So he's going to cross the brick line now, and as he does, he moves up a couple of spots into P13. So a little bit of work to do for Rubens tonight. He would have preferred to have started a little bit further up the list, no doubt.
Yeah, Ruben Phelps designing that paintwork as well as racing it. So good job there from Ruben Phelps as the clock ticks over. And we are going to go through the starting grid for the Indianapolis round of the ANZCAR Trucks Season 2 here on FGM eCast, your place for e-pace. So up in front we have Andrew Dyson, Jason Martin on the front row. Second row is Ryan Jones and Jaden Russell. Third is Micklemore Schultz. Fourth, Vickers Foster. Fifth is Williams and Dillon. Sixth is Donnelly and Wellman. Seventh, we have Phelps and Clark. Eighth is Davidson at Mazzamo. Ninth, we have Rollock and Finley. 10th is Hobbs and Patton. 11th, we have Norman Clark and Priest. 12th is Wooden and Burkek. 13th is Tyler and Tompkins. 14th, Danny G, Matty Ray. And on the final row, we have Shaw and Bob Kleeman, a new face to the series.
Yeah, absolutely. Bob Kleeman just joining the series this evening before the whole thing kicked off. They're choosing not to qualify, so he's currently going to be starting out of 30th position, and we welcome him to the series. Always like seeing new racers enter into ANZCAR. Of course, the trucks being the entry point into the ANZCAR series. So if you are looking to do some truck racing on a Monday night, ANZCAR Truck Series is the place we'd like to see you come, of course, as this grid continues to remain strong, and there's a reason for it. It's because these trucks are really good fun to drive and a great way to get a bit of craft behind you before you make your way up through into the Cup Series or the Feature Series for ANZCAR, which of course is broadcast here on FGM eCast on a Thursday evening. Carl, who are we liking for tonight, mate? It is a different sort of track. We've got Dyson on pole, Martin up the front. We've got a little bit of I wouldn't say inexperience at all, but what do we say here? A little bit of youth versus experience, youth for age before beauty. How do we describe this between Dyson, a newcomer to ANZCAR, and Martin, one of the pillars of the ANZCAR brand?
Look, a little bit of fresher track knowledge to ovals compared to a more seasoned veteran there. I'm going to actually go with one of the Sim Boys. I'm going to go Sim Boys for Super Speedway because they have been doing a fantastic job this season. They got Aaron Dillon up there 10th, 11th Kay Donnelly, Gary Wellman in 12th. Near to them is Christopher Finlay, so those guys are keeping well. Troy Davidson as well up there too, so they have a lot of bullets in their gun and they are ready to go as always. I'm going to say Kay Donnelly for them because he has shown some really good pace on the super speedways, on the faster ovals recently, and I feel like he might be one to keep an eye out for.
Yeah, Kate's a good call, actually. He's had a couple of really strong performances of late. did get involved in a little bit of the rubbish, which he won't be all that happy about, but he had a really strong performance last week. So yeah, a good call there. You know, I'm going to go a little bit of an outsider here, and one that we haven't seen too much of this season. I'm going to go for the current series champion, Steve Williams. Just on screen there in front of your man, Cade Donnelly. He's due. He's due, is Williams. He had a really good run last season, nice and consistent. Just struggling a little bit for top 10 form. He's inside the top 10 tonight, starting 90. Down in 9th in the DPRSimrix.com entry, so I'm looking at him to see if he might cause an upset here tonight.
Yeah, there's definitely a fair few drivers that can cause an upset tonight. It's going to be an interesting one. Will Dyson be able to convert pole to a race win here at the Brickyard? Very hard to do when you have Jason Martin on your outside. Jaden Russell, don't count him out. He's been looking to get a win in any of the ANZCAR series. Been very quick all year long. One of the fresh faces to the team. Aiden Schultz having a really good qualifying, getting up there in 6th. Not going to mention him too much tonight, so I don't put the curse of the commentator on him. Ben Vickers as well, really good qualifying from him in the 77. Good to see Ben up there just in front of Edward Foster. So a lot of drivers in contention. They're coming around the final corner. The pace truck that's going to be pulling into pit lane very shortly. Dyson is going to be the leader now. He pulls away very quickly. He does not wait at all. Gets a great jump on the start, but that's not something you necessarily want to do. That's going to give Jason Martin the chance to get a little bit of a draft up behind Dyson. He's going to be able to pull himself up a little bit. You don't always want to get a big leap like that because with the draft in effect so strong here, it can really catch you out.
Yeah, absolutely. Jumped off to a big start there. Jason Martin not quite going with him at the start, but Ryan Jones joins on behind him. If you're not familiar with Ryan Jones' old paint scheme, then that won't worry. But tonight he is rocking the green if you're having a look for him. Expect him to be aggressive early, as we love about Ryan Jones. Always happy to put the hammer down and really push the truck hard right throughout the stint. So look for him to try and make pace on Jason Martin, get up behind Andrew Dyson here and challenge for the lead early on. That would be absolutely what we'd expect from him. As Josh Mickelmore gets up behind Jaden Russell as well. You can see there the 52 of Aiden Schultz. He's had a good start. Along with Edward Foster up one position. Ben Vickers currently running in 9th, with Steve Williams maintaining his position along with Aaron Dillon in 9th and 10th position. That's our top 10 as we get through lap 2 here at Indianapolis. It's been a nice clean start for everyone. Just want to get into the groove here. That's really, really important. Just get nice, consistent, get used to the truck. Manage to get yourself around through that first 10 to 15 laps. As you just see Schultz there get a little loose on the exit. That's going to be characteristic for tonight that we're going to have to watch out for across all of these drivers.
Yeah, look, the truck getting loose is going to be a normal thing tonight, and it's very easy to happen. A little bit further back, Ruben Phelps is on the move. He's just getting down underneath Nathan Clark at the moment. Phelps working his way up the field in the mid-pack. But you've got to sort of pick your fights and choose when to start running as well here. So that's an important part. I was going to say, up the front, Ryan Jones is getting a good draft on Dyson at the moment. Dyson has dropped a little bit of time to Jones. He's trying to break the toe a little bit, just trying to pull away from Jones a little bit up the front, but Jones is catching right up to him. He's caught the draft and he is really closing tight to Andrew Dyson. I was going to say, if Ryan Jones was a clickbait article, he would be "The Tyre Companies Hate Him." That would be the clickbait title for his video.
Oh, most definitely would be. He is not shy in coming forward at all. Jones, he talks about it. He knows that sometimes he probably pushes a little hard at the cost of the tyres, and that can cost him during those longer run green flag periods. But I think tonight here, absolutely banking on the fact that there won't be extended green flag periods, and doing Jonesy things, which is to challenge Dyson for the lead. He's got a good run on him here. He's going to use the draft to his advantage. He's going to get down underneath him into turn 1. He'll go all the way through here and take the lead of this race.
Nice move there from Ryan Jones, just getting up front. The Mitch boys are trying to form a little bit of a pack. We've got Jaden Russell between them at the moment, but we know that those guys are friends with that team, so we might see a little bit of inter-team friendship going on for those with the draft, just to get themselves working up there a little bit.
Absolutely. Martin and Mickelmore, obviously teammates, so very much used to working together, but work together here basically every week. They are very, very close in pace, which makes it nice and easy for them to compete together. No team rules in Mitch Motorsport, which I love, so they compete hard right the way through, challenging one another to the end of every race. But in the early bit, very, very much understand that working together benefits both of them as they run towards the end of the race.
Yeah, Ryan Jones pulling out a bit of a lead, and I always say I don't believe that there are any teams in the universe that have no team rules at all. Every team has one rule, and that's don't crash into each other. But it seems like Mitch Motorsport use that rule to their advantage because they love racing to each other, and they definitely try their best not to cause any impact with each other. They race hard every week, get close every week. As Aaron Dillon just catching the wall a little bit further back. He's just caught the wall slightly. That's going to hamper him a little bit. Slight crease on the right front of that car. That's going to hamper his straight line pace a little bit in this race.
Got a little bit of protection there from Gary Wellman, teammate behind him, Kay Donnelly in front, so that'll help him get back up to speed with some protection from Ruben Phelps, who's putting the pressure on behind them both here. He's currently running 13th, right behind the 45 of Gary Wellman, so he'll be wanting to make hay while the sun shines. Got a little bit of pace in that Crank Esports 06 entry, and won't want to spend too long, I should say, travelling along behind those Simboys liveried ones in front of him. But at this stage there, Dillon looks like he's recovered from that damage with the help of his mates. Oh, the back end gets a little loose there. Wellman gets down underneath him here, so he's going to make up a position. That's going to leave him open. Phelps, he wants to get in on the action where he can. Dillon's going to struggle a little bit now with no one in front of him effectively, and it is going to be Ruben Phelps going to get down underneath him as well. In fact, he goes too wide here. He's looking to get underneath Wellman at the same time. Phelps, he's going to get it done. He's down underneath. Might just close it out here on the exit of the corner. Wellman getting a little bit wide. Looks quite good on the low run there and gets it done. And in fact, the 13 there of Aaron Dillon has got a better exit as well. So a good battle on here for positions 11 through 14 as Nathan Clark jumps in on the act. So does Simon Mesimo as well.
Yeah, taking it free wide now, doing it, looking to do it again down the start, finish straight. Don't quite get the pull for Dillon just behind him. Wellman there, right on the side of Phelps at the moment. That's going to put him slightly higher for the exit of the corner. He's going to have to drop down a little bit. He's going to lose a little bit of pace. He's trying to get down on the inside now of Ruben Phelps, but can't quite get it underneath there from that position. He needs to get the nose underneath Phelps at the moment to try and get that pass made, but Phelps is making it very hard. A little bit further at the front, Andrew Dyson has dropped down to third position, which is not a bad idea for Dyson. He's sitting behind Jason Martin. Martin has pulled out a little bit of a gap at the moment, but Dyson's going to be sitting in that draft, that slipstream effect, and that's going to help him with some fuel mileage. But Ryan Jones at the moment is running away at the front. He's pulling a nice bit of a gap at the moment for the lead of this race.
Yeah, he's 2 seconds to the good at the moment, Jonesy, but you can't see that lasting, particularly towards the end of the long run. So we'll see how he gets on here. We're hoping for a caution towards the end of this stint, but at this stage here, using the tyres to his advantage, broken the draft and just seeing what he can do. But of course, Martin as well doing the same thing. He's almost a second out over Dyson now. He has to deal with Jaden Russell, who's putting the pressure on him. So in fact, those two probably will be able to catch back up onto the back of Jason Martin, who's travelling a little bit in no man's land. You've got Schultz, Micklemore and Foster behind him in their own little pack as well. So starting to spread out a little bit, ever so slightly now. Not quite, sort of that gap that you normally see between the lead pack and the following pack. It's just settling a little bit here.
It's a little bit further back, well, a lot further back to the back of the pack at the moment. We've got Mick Taylor, Tompkins and Maddie Raymond at the moment just forming an SRM pack together. They're starting to try and work together a little bit just to get themselves formed up towards the back of the field, and they're going to try and start to form up with each other, and they're probably going to get past Michael Shaw relatively quickly, and then start catching on Burkick and Wooden as well. So keep an eye out for that little train forming up. Because if they can actually get it working, if they can get the bump drafting working for themselves, then they could make this work towards the back of the pack. Meanwhile, Kate Donnelly's just made a move on Ben Vickers a little bit further up for P9. Moving up the field is Kate Donnelly. He's slowly working his way up there. He's got Ruben Phelps and Gary Wellman a little bit further behind him, and Ben Vickers now is going to be falling into the grasp of Ruben Phelps, I would say. Ben just struggling a little bit with pace at this stage of the race, but It's not about this stage of the race. He could be coming back a little bit later on, just saving the car a little bit, taking a little bit of fuel saving to try and go a little bit longer. If we get a long green section, that could turn out to be an absolute key for him for later in this race.
Dyson now under pressure from Jaden Russell. Aiden Schultz has joined into this battle. Josh Micklemore's there as well as Foster. So potentially a little bit of management here from Dyson. Just comfortable running where he's running, thinking about the longer game here, get into that first pit stop with a truck in pristine condition as Josh Mickelmore gets the nose out here. He's having a look down underneath Aiden Schultz. He's going to get the job done at low line a little quicker. Gets the better exit here. Schultz will be able to close him out for a little bit longer there as Mickelmore pulls back in behind him. So they come back around through turn 4. Yeah, fancy Josh Mickelmore down into turn 1 here. Just not quite far enough up to get the job done through 3 and 4. He's going to get in the draft here. Edward Foster trying to make sure he sticks with them. Again, it's not just... is he? Yeah, he is. He's going to be far enough up here to close that gap out. Schultz, better part of Valor there, just lets him get through. It's only lap 11. It's not going to make that much difference at this point in time. Just needs to keep the truck clean and get his way through. But Mickelmore makes the move there up into P5.
Yeah, in all honesty, right here, it's not a bad thing to be following a couple of extra cars. The only negative is generally just a little bit of extra heat in the vehicle. That's the thing that can cost you a little bit in that respect, but it does help a little bit with fuel saving later on in the race. That's not going to be a thing that Ryan Jones is thinking about at the moment, nor is Jason Martin. Both of those are sort of in no man's land at the moment with Andrew Dyson. He's sort of in a position where he doesn't really have anyone in front of him. He's got a fair few cars behind him though, so those cars will be struggling a little bit for fuel numbers. They're going to be helping everybody around them. Meanwhile, we have a big battle a little bit further back with Mazzemo and Vickers and Davidson. Davidson taking down the inside of Vickers right here as he tries to make the move. Can't quite make it stick. Vickers just able to hold that outside line. That will give him a little bit of a better drive out of the corner. Keeps the position for now. Mazzemo working his way up though, doing a good job. Same as Nathan Clark. Those guys are working their way through the field slowly but surely at the moment, and just not taking too much risk as they go through, just keeping the battle as close as possible though, and not wanting to lose too much time to the leaders. That's the important part, because you don't want to fall off the back of the leaders and end up getting lapped, because that can be a ruiner for your race.
Ben Vickers there, just struggling right off the pace. He had a really, really good qualifying effort as well. Qualifying up in 7th position. Currently running down in 15th at the moment. So the Juice Digital entry just struggling a little bit during the opening laps here. Just dropping down into the pack a little bit. The other thing I was keeping an eye on is up the front. This battle here, Martin here closed the gap down. It was out to just over 2 seconds when Jason Martin moved into 2nd place, putting the move on Andrew Dyson. And now you can see that he's well and truly in the draft zone. And the 21 Mitch Motorsport entry right up here, and is going to contest the lead of this race with the 111 entry of Ryan Jones.
Yeah, Mick Taylor in a bit of trouble. He had a lot of understeer going through turn number 3, I think it was. Lost the front end of that truck and ran up into the wall. Quite a lot of damage to that car. Didn't bring out the caution. He managed to keep it in the right direction, so good job from him to keep it going in the right way and not spin it around. But that's not going to help his night, unfortunately. That's going to hurt him quite a bit. Big battle at the moment, a little bit further back as Ben Vickers drops further in timing as, little slight touch there in the back of Burkick, I think, for Mick Taylor. That was very close there between those two drivers. Ben Vickers is just getting absolutely swamped at the moment. He is just getting passed by Nigel Patton, and now Aaron Dillon is trying to get down the inside as well as Nathan Rowlock. So Vickers is really struggling with long run pace. It seems good short run, but struggling with the long run, and that's what I was talking about a little bit earlier. With those drivers with a little bit more experience, possibly taking a little bit better long run pace over the short run pace. And that's a prime example of it there. Ben Vickers just showing really good short run pace, but not able to quite keep it there for the longer runs. Gary Wellman's got a little bit of damage to the front left, as the front right hand side of his truck as well, as we saw Mazzemo getting underneath him there and getting that position. And again, that's not going to help out their evening. That little bit of damage can really hurt you on a speedway like this one.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing that's happened here is a little bit of separation Let's keep an eye on this battle here. Edward Foster and Aidan Schultz.
Sorry to jump over you. Up the front, Martin is making a move on Jones, and Martin is going to take that position, getting underneath Ryan Jones, who I think might have made a bit of a mistake in the in turn number 2. He did indeed. He just ran up a little bit high, had to lift off as he just bounced it into the wall. Caught the tail on the wall though, not the front end luckily, so not much damage to Ryan, but that is going to hurt him a bit.
Yeah, so you can see there, not too much damage as you said, Carl, but he has lost the lead of this race to Jason Martin, who was closing in. So Martin now leads on lap 16 of 75 here. 16 completed, I should say.
Oh, and we had a bit of an incident. Ben Vickers got caught up. Nathan Rolock just getting a little bit loose in the mid-corner, I think, and just running up into Ben, unfortunately, and that's cost him dearly going through turns 3 and 4. Just got caught up there, bounced up into the wall for Vickers, and that's really going to hurt his evening. Shame to see, because that was a really good qualifying pace from Vickers, but pace is something that is a good sign. If you can go fast, that is a really good sign. It just means you just need a little bit more time just to get the car worked out for those longer runs. But if you've got short run pace, you can turn that into long run pace in the future. So that's a good sign. We've seen Ben Vickers show good pace in the past, and once again showing some good pace tonight. Hopefully, though, he'll be able to convert it into a slightly better finishing position in the future.
As Ruben Phelps continues his press forward for a claim into the top 5 here. Currently up into 9th position. He's up 4 spots from his qualifying position of 13th. He's just got by Stephen Williams. Relatively easy, Phelpsy. So he's on a charge. He's up behind Cade Donnelly now in the Simboys 40 entry. So keep an ear on this battle as well as we look throughout the field. Edward Foster still got Aidan Schultz just hassling him a little bit. Not quite there enough yet, but just right behind him here. So if he makes a mistake, Schultz will be looking to press his claim for 6th position, but Edward Foster currently up 2 spots into 6th. Josh Mickelmore, Jaden Russell, where they started. Andrew Dyson comfortable in 3rd, and at the front, Jason Martin has moved away a little bit, 3/4 of a second to be in the lead of this race. You can just see there the gap between our front 3 drivers, Martin, Jones and Dyson.
Yeah, we've had 18 laps of green flag running, which is what we love to see. It's always good when it can run as green as Ryan Jones's car. It's definitely a good sign indeed. Well, maybe not that green. That's a little bit too radioactive for a flag, I'd say. But there has been some good clean running tonight. There's been a couple of incidents, though. It's not been completely perfect out there. Mick Taylor and Igor Burkitt have been fighting pretty much non-stop, and Mick Taylor got caught up into the back of Burkitt. Both of those cars kept going in the right direction. Noddy Tompkins as well had a little bit of a swipe into the wall, but those guys are going to be learning a fair bit out there still, which is the important part. Keeping the cars running and keeping them going is all a part of the learning experience, and that is a big part of the truck racing. It isn't just to bring us some great racing, it is to help these guys learn a little bit about this style of racing and get them a little bit more confident for the higher series and for the future.
Absolutely. If you've never run in this series before, it's not as simple as turning left. There's a lot of strategy involved in this style of racing. So it's if you're in circuit racing, you've never done oval track racing, it's very similar to how Formula Ford and Formula V drivers manage their race. It's all about that last 10 laps, the run to the finish, getting yourself into a position where you can press your claim in that last 10 laps of the race. So there's more to it than just turning left. Very, very much strategy game. A little bit like chess, but the chess world of motorsport, shall we say.
Meanwhile, Foster's making a move on Josh Mickelmore. At the moment, they are side by side. Mickelmore just getting squeezed up a little bit high. Foster taking the low line as they come round the corner. You can see Mickelmore's got that high line that should give him a little bit better speed off, but Foster seems to have a good run at the moment. He's got good traction on that low line. Foster able just to keep in front of Mickelmore at the moment. You can see Schultz right in behind him. He's going to drop it down behind Foster now. This is going to help Foster out a little bit, give him a little bit of a push forwards and mean that Mickelmore's going to be a little bit stuck. Foster there just blocking Mickelmore a little bit. He just moved his car up, so Mickelmore had to lift off a little bit. And that's going to mean he's going to drop behind Schultz possibly. Although Mickelmore is doing his best to stop that from happening. You can see those two side by side now. Mickelmore and Schultz. Mickelmore on that high line is going to give him a good run off the corner. He manages to slot it in front of Schultz there. Nice job by Mickelmore. Nice overtake from Foster as well. Very, very decisive move there from Foster. Just forcing his way through and causing Mickelmore to drop back one place.
Yeah, Micklemore got squeezed a little bit there. You could see he was a little bit nervous about where Aiden Schultz was on the track because he just got a little loose right next to the wall, and that would have been a scary moment for him. Nothing to do with Schultz's driving whatsoever, but of course not necessarily able to see exactly where Schultz was in the exit of that corner. Schultz gave him enough room, but he certainly would have been nervous being that close to the wall with a car below him.
Yeah, one of the big things that happens, of course, is you get side draft, you get dirty air, of course, as well. And if you're familiar with motorsport, especially sort of the top ends with, Formula One, things like that, you hear dirty air all the time, and that's where the air is distorted around the car in front of you. And it makes it very, very tricky. It sometimes really makes the car hard to drive. And you see that on ovals in the way the car gets very twitchy. When they're running side by side or near the walls, all of a sudden the car will get very twitchy and you'll have a moment just a little bit further back. We've got Nathan Clark making a move on Stephen Williams right now, and Mazzemo is right behind them as well. So there's a good battle going on there. I was going to mention as well, watch out for Ruben Phelps. He's worked his way up nicely. He is just a single car away from his teammate now in Aiden Schultz. So if those two Crank Esports cars can link up together, they'll be able to work with each other and help each other out, of course. Because a track like this, it is a very fast circuit, and the draft is all important. Now, what we talk about with the draft is when one car is following another, it effectively makes it into one long car. So it helps both cars go faster at the same time. The car in front obviously has to push a little bit harder, but it gets a little bit less drag, as we see Schultz trying to make the move on Micklemore there. He's going down the inside now, and he's going to try and make this position on Micklemore. Can't quite make it work. They get very close on the exit there. Micklemore holding that high line still. Schultz just trying to get that inside line working for him. If he can get a good run off the corner, he can make this one work. He needs to force Josh Micklemore into a little bit of a lift-off to try and make him fall in behind him, which Micklemore's not going to do. Josh Micklemore, a seasoned veteran, he is not going to be easy to bully into a position. He's going to hold that for as long as he can, but Schultz having that inside line, slightly shorter circuit length, is going to help him out, and he finally makes the move. He gets in front of Josh Micklemore. Nice move from Aiden Schultz.
I was going to quote the old Meatloaf song there. You took the words right out of my mouth, Carl. I was going to say that we need to keep an eye on Ruben Phelps as he makes his way up towards the back of his teammate. We spoke about that in the pre-race, that he'll be wanting to get up towards Aiden Schultz to work together. And you can just see now that in a train here, it's Crank Esports, Mitch Motorsport, Simboys, and then Crank Esports. So they'll be looking to get together, work together, and then make a push to gap these guys and get up onto the back of Edward Foster, currently running in 5th. This battle here is Josh Micklemore ducks down into pit lane. He's going to try and do the undercut here, you imagine. Donnelly there trying to get the draft broken to Ruben Phelps. He knows that he is exposed here to an overtake. If not this lap, probably the next time around. Phelps not quite close enough as they head into turn 1 on the exit at 2. He might get it done down the back straight here. It just depends how much tyre life he's got, and if he can get a good run on him down onto that low line, which is where we seem to see the pace being at the moment, even with that better drive off the high line on the exit of the corner. Donnelly there just showing us exactly what I'm talking about. He's got a good break here on Ruben Phelps. That'll help him defend down into 3 and through 4, and you can see there Nathan Clark wants to get involved on the action as well. He's using the draft to close up the gap onto the back of Ruben Phelps, as we're going to start seeing people peel in for the first round of pit stops as we get into lap 25.
Yeah, green flag pit stops are coming. It's going to be thick and fast as well. We're going to see a big spat of drivers, I'd say, coming into pit lane. Stephen Williams coming in this time around, but we're going to see quite a few people ducking into pit lane as that fuel starts to burn off a little bit. You'd say Jason Martin's going to have to come in probably a bit sooner than some of the others, just because that fuel will be a little bit lighter in his car, having that he's led most of this race without too much chance. Ryan Jones has just dropped in behind Andrew Dyson as well, so Dyson working his way up the field, and Jones just dropping back a little bit now. He's just probably burnt up those tyres a little bit more than some of the other drivers as well. So as we were talking about earlier on with Ryan Jones, he tends to be one of those drivers that likes to chew up those tyres quite quickly, and I think he's done a very good job of that this stint. But the pit lane is starting to become a hub of activity now. When are the rest of the leaders going to pit? That's the question. Ryan Jones into pit lane, Foster into pit lane, all of those drivers coming into pit lane at the moment. You can see a little bit of a lock-up behind. I think that might have been Aiden Schultz, possibly, just making a very late decision to come into pit lane there, as he saw the rest of the guys. So hopefully he did not get a speeding penalty for that one.
I think he might have got it pulled up just in time, but certainly it is that time for these guys. Expect to see Jason Martin come in this time around as well. As you can see there, I think it's the 83 in front of him. Sorry, 89 of Mick Taylor, just with a little bit of damage there. But Martin might try and push this for as long as he can. He's going to get a few extra laps in here, but it's about tyre life. And he pulls down into pit lane, so he knows that the differential between himself and those behind him will be too great, too experienced is he to stay out too long and get that done. So we'll keep an eye here on Andrew Dyson. We've got Jaden Russell staying out, Phelpsy's still out there, so's Clark and Mazzomo as well. So a few drivers choosing to run the longest stint here. He's closed right up on the back there of Mick Taylor, who stays high in the line to let him go through, and Dyson at the moment effective race leader.
Yeah, Micklemore has come out just in front of Ryan Jones, so that early stop has helped Micklemore a little bit. He came in right on the bubble to get the free stopper working, so he should be absolutely fine for the rest of the race to come in a couple more times. Two stopper working, working for this one. So they'll be coming in again in about another 25, 26 laps, I'd say. Micklemore's tyres will be a little bit older than the guys around him by a couple of moments of a lap, so about 2 laps older than the rest of the guys, which isn't going to be a huge effect here. But the big thing is getting that draft working and having a little bit of draft to help you out. That's going to help with the lap time. When you're out of the draft, you're losing probably about a second in lap time, so you want to have a bit of a draft partner to work it out with to come in and out of pit lane. That helps you out an enormous amount.
Jaden Russell there just really sticking the anchors into the concrete, try and get the 28 pulled up into pit lane. It looks like he got it stopped just in time, but it was all over the shop, just trying to make sure that he pulled that up there as he completes his pit stop along with Andrew Dyson. So at the moment there's only about 5 trucks out there who haven't pitted. Ben Vickers one of them, Matty Raymond, Nathan Rawlock, Mazzomo and Phelps currently the only 5 trucks not to have carried their way through pit lane as we're on lap 28, about to start lap 29.
Look, not a bad idea to go a little bit longer than the rest of the field, because if that caution comes out, you are going to be in a very good position. You're going to be able to pit when the caution flag comes out, and you're going to save a lot of time in pit lane. What this does is it gives them a little bit more option throughout the race as well. It gives them a little bit more option later on in the race too. So it's not always a bad idea to try and stay out longer than the rest of the field. You are going to lose time from it, but you're not going to lose as much time as some of the others.
Tell you what, as well, on adjusted order out of pit lane, Edward Foster's jumped Andrew Dyson, so he track position wise has moved up into 4th through the pit cycle. So once we talk about pit cycle, once we get through every truck having entered pit lane, it'll be Jason Martin, Ryan Jones, Josh Micklemore and then Edward Foster, followed by Andrew Dyson as our top 5 after they get through the stops. So Foster, they're pitting 2 laps earlier than Dyson, so just getting the benefit of the new tyres, helping him to carry through that undercut. So he'll be hoping for a caution period at some stage that'll help his race, but at the moment he's moved up 1 place due to that undercut.
Yeah, it's helped him a little bit. His stop time was a little bit quicker as well, by a couple of tenths of a second over Dyson. That, of course, meaning, when you stop a little bit later, then the car around you, if you sort of take a little bit less fuel, for instance, that can help you out an enormous amount. I think Dyson just brimmed it right to the top, whereas Foster may have just taken enough fuel to get him to a certain lap so he knows he can get home. So may have just been a little bit of work there. Mazzomo is trying to make a move on Phelps at the moment for the lead of this race, as they are still fighting out there on those old tyres, still trying to make it as long as possible. Phelps managing to keep the lead of the race at the moment, and this is good news for Phelps because it's going to get him some bonus points. Of course, when you lead a lap, you get yourself a nice bonus point, and Phelps keeping it out there for another lap. He's done 29 so far. How many more can he do?
Absolutely, is Micklemore here having a move put down underneath him by Edward Foster, and Andrew Dyson looking to go with him. So this is a change for position. Foster closes up into that high line, closes out Mickelmore a little bit, as he's completely entitled to do. That's helped Dyson out a little bit as well. So Dyson's got the move done here. Dyson on the freshest tyres out of this pack by 4 laps over Edward Foster. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it's huge in the world of tyre life cycle. So he should have plenty of pace here, be able to maybe get a move done to Edward Foster as well and move himself back up into effective 3rd position.
Look, Foster is not making friends with Josh Mickelmore tonight. He has put a little bit of a block on him a couple of times now with the passing manoeuvre, just to drop him back another position. Foster really working the old game a little bit out there tonight, but you can see Dyson is right on the back of him at the moment. Foster just getting down underneath the SRM car there of, I think that might be Nick Taylor. Sorry, that might be Nick Taylor. So Foster just absolutely trying his best to work through traffic as well, and this is where it comes into play a little bit. They have got Ben Vickers in front of them as well, so Foster's going to get a nice bit of draft here from Vickers. This is going to help keep him in front of Dyson for another lap or so. Dyson is going to try his best. Ruben Phelps, Mazzemo and Rollock have come in. Matty Raymond is the effective race leader at the moment as he sticks out for another lap. Matty Raymond is going to be praying for a caution right now. That could save his race right now.
And Dyso here, Foster just wanting to work with those lap cars a little bit, just to try and force Dyson up to stay high and get a little bit of a block on. It's completely legal to do it, of course, as they get past the 80 of Noddy Tompkins there. So you can see here Foster just trying to close him up into the higher line and use that to his advantage. But Dyso there has done a great job on the entry into turn 3. And has closed that out now, so he moves up into effective 3rd position.
Yeah, he's done a good job. Matty Raymond, he is coughing and spluttering into pit lane. He has made it, but he's struggled on the fuel mileage there to lap 31. So that's going to help him out later in the stint, of course. That's going to mean he can go a bit longer than the rest of these guys, and that could come into play if we get a late caution. So Matty Raymond doing a good job just getting the fuel mileage as long.
Just cut out.
Yeah, as I say, it was pretty much gone when he got into pit lane, so he just cruised it in there. He used every last drop of fuel possible there.
That's, as you say, a good effort from him. It means that he will get if he gets another really long run here. He's going to need a splash and dash at the end to get that one home. That'll help him move up a few positions at the end of the race. But it is Jason Martin now out in the lead. He's got a fast-charging Ryan Jones behind him on fresh rubber as well. So these two pitted 1 lap apart. Andrew Dyson's on his way into this battle, as is Edward Foster. So we've got 4 cars here at the front. Josh Mickelmore struggling a little bit on the new tyres. 23 laps did he pit, so 10 laps ago. Those will have plateaued a little bit, and we're seeing that in the gap that's opening up between himself and this lead group of 4 cars of Martin, Jones, Dyson and Foster. Steve Williams further back behind him. He's under pressure from Aiden Schultz, as you can see on screen now. So Schultz has got again, same sort of tyre life as Williams, so these two will battle hard, you reckon, for a majority of this stint. Jaden Russell wanting to get involved. He's on fresher tyres. Watch for him to make the move past both of them in a lap or two.
Matty Raymond was absolutely pushing on the pit exit there. He was taking every limit you could. So he has got a bit of an idea that he might be in with a chance of a good finish tonight, I think, Matty Ray. He has come out in front of the leaders, all importantly, so he hasn't lost a lap. He's got nice fresh tyres that he can use. He's going to work his way up through the field and try and keep that fuel mileage nice and long now. He can then afford for a very quick splash and dash towards the end of the race. It'll only be probably about 10 or 15 laps of fuel worth, so it'll be a bit quicker than the rest behind him. Meanwhile, Ryan Jones has got Andrew Dyson all over the back of him. Dyson is putting the screws on to Jones at the moment. Dyso is all over the back of that interstate batteries entry of Ryan Jones, absolutely trying his best to pressure Ryan Jones into a mistake. We'll see how that one goes. That's a lot of quick car there from Andrew Dyson, though. We've seen he's been quick all night in the DPR entry there with the Phoenix Smokers livery on the front, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. At Phoenix Smokers, a new addition to the Simracing.com team, or Simracing.com sponsorship, I should say, owned by the same guys. So another new business there for those guys. And I'll tell you what, don't mind spending a Sunday smoking a nice rolled pork or something like that. So jump on their website and have a look. They get behind plenty in the sim racing community, but of course DPR no strangers to being up the front here and competing in Mitchell Motorsports. What we've seen a lot.
Just jumping back, we've got a Jaden Russell making a move on Stephen Williams at the moment. They were running 3 wide as they got past Ben Vickers just then. Hence the urgency of that one. They have managed to get clear of him, but they are trying to catch up to Aiden Schultz at the moment. You can see Russell right down the inside of Williams at the moment, trying to put the move on the current champion Stevie Dubb, and he makes it possible. Just gets down underneath him, gets it in front. Jaden Russell doing a nice move there.
Yeah, we're expecting to see Jaden come through. He's on tyres equivalent lap to Andrew Dyson, who's currently running second fastest car on the track. So expect to see Russell catch up to Schultz now. He'll break the draft, you imagine, to Stephen Williams, and he'll be up pressing Aiden Schultz for position 6 very, very shortly.
Yeah, this is going to get pretty fun. I think we're going to get some juicy, fun times with this one. Yeah, I'm looking forward to some of this racing coming forward. There's a bit of a gap opening up at the front. There's quite a big gap between some of the cars as we talk. Jaden Russell and Stephen Williams are some of the closest there, but once you get to about P10, there is barely anything between those guys. There is a lot of cars running quite close to each other and quite a bit of traffic between them as well, so that's going to make things quite interesting with that battle. Yeah,
absolutely. I was just having a look here at Edward Foster. He's gaining on Ryan Jones. Jonesy again maybe has burnt a little bit too much off the tyres on the 111. So we've seen these two. This is a little bit like Apollo Creed and Rocky Balboa. These two, they continue to meet in the ring, trading blows, and week to week we enjoy watching them battle away, and always between Foster and Jones. So this is for the battle for 3rd position, and Ed Foster here on newer tyres. In fact, same lap tyres, so they should definitely be in the same state, but we do know that Jonesy pushes a little hard on those tyres. More than happy to sacrifice some to make some position and let the dice decide his fate. So we'll see how this battle plans out before we get to our second round of pit stops.
Yeah, I think Ryan Jones only has 1 speed, and that is flat out, which is not a bad thing for a racing driver indeed. We've seen it bring him victories a fair few times in the sport. Yeah, really, really nice driving there. Jaden Russell just getting past Aiden Schultz here. He's going to take the low side, get through underneath Aiden Schultz here, and Schultz is just going to drop in behind Russell, and that's going to help Schultz's fuel saving a little bit. I think that was more of a move of, look, I'll just let you through here, Russell. I'm not going to put up too much fight here. I kind of want somebody in front of me just to help me a little bit. Because we've still got a long way in this race. 36 laps remain, and we've had 39 laps of green flag racing here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, ANZCAR Truck Series on FGM eCars for your Monday night, if you don't mind. That's what we like, 39 laps of it. We said Jaden Russell was going to get up and past Schultz. He has done just that. Has he got enough extra tyre life to catch Micklemore? I think so. It's 4 laps. Greener tyres on the 28 entry, and Josh Micklemore there has just dropped down a little bit in terms of pace. I can tell you now as well that Foster is closer on Ryan Jones. We'll jump up to that battle as Foster looks to push his cause to get back into the top 3 in the Atari Autosport 53 entry. So he's narrowed that gap down now to just 2/10. He'll be looking to make a move here if he can, down into 3 and 4. I think his chance is probably better down into 1, but we'll see how they get out of the exit here. Jonesy does a good job, gets away on the 111 Interstate Batteries entry. Just able to maintain that gap. That's going to help him here as he heads down into turn 3. So Foster will be thinking that he might be able to tee him up down into turn 1 if he gets a better exit here off 3 and 4. Just gap opening up a little bit again, so just some seesaw between these two.
Yeah, look, it's going to be close, but I think Foster is going to get the move on Jones eventually as they come towards getting to a stage where they're going to be thinking about that final stop in about the next 5 laps, I'd say. So they're getting towards a stage where they're going to be starting to ponder about when is going to be a good time to pit, when is going to be the time to come in and pull the trigger. And I think we'll probably see Ryan Jones being one of the earlier people to do that, as is sometimes the case with Ryan Jones. But he has been doing a good job tonight, just keeping that truck going He's not been pushing it as hard as we usually see with Ryan Jones. He's not been absolutely flogging it to a point where the tyres have just dropped off a cliff. He's been keeping that car consistently in the top 4, top 5 all night long, and keeping a relatively good pace as well. Keeping around about the 56-second mark. Up front, you've got Martin and Dyson around about the 55.5 mark. So, you know, there is a bit of pace discrepancy between those cars, but he's been doing a good job of just keeping the car alive, and that's the main thing for Ryan Jones. He wants to keep that car alive towards the end, and then I think we'll see him go full flat-out mode for the final stint.
Question is, how late do they jump into pit lane, get the tyres done? How far off are they going to be? Spoke about running late. Matty Raymond, last of the stoppers, so he's currently running in 20th position, and is the fastest man on track last time around. Difficulty for him is he's equally running by himself, so he hasn't got that benefit of the draft that some of the other drivers have got. That's going to be costing him time that he could be using on those fresh tyres to make his way through the pack. So really good to run as long as possible, but he's unfortunately paying a little bit of a toll now running by himself.
Yeah, it's definitely not helping him, but he is the fastest car on track, which is a crucially important thing. He's managed to drop the gap to Jason Martin by about 10 seconds over the last 10 laps or so. So that is a good sign as well. That's showing good pace and showing that he is able to start climbing up, and that's a good sign for the later in his stint as well. The more pace he has, the better it's going to be for that final stint. And of course, remember, he can take much less fuel to the end of the race as well. These guys are going to have to come in for a full service. They're going to be stationary for a good 15, 16 seconds, whereas Matty Ray might be stationary for around about 5 to 10 seconds. You know, he might even choose to only take right side tyres or something like that. So he might have a very quick pit stop that could gain him a fair bit of time. And the other thing as well is he'll be out there a lot longer, so if a caution does come out, he will be sitting very pretty indeed.
Yeah, in fact, we saw Parry Anastakis a couple of weeks ago do exactly that strategy, and it worked out really well for him, elevating him into the top 10. Parry not running tonight, but we know that can be a very effective strategy in these races where we do get big, long green flag running segments of the race. So we'll keep an eye on Matty Raymond. He's closing up on Brent Hobbs, who we're looking at now, and he's probably going to get the job done there. Then it's a good 15 seconds to Norman Clark, who's currently running in 17th position, and then he's on the train. That's what he wants. He wants to get up behind Norman Clark because it joins him in to a battle of between 17th and 10th place, and that'll be where he'll make his biggest progress.
Speaking of closing the gap, Andrew Dyson is doing a great job of that at the moment. He's closing the gap on Jason Martin, the leader of the race for so many laps at the moment. Dyson, of course, the pole sitter, but that battle is really close. And we've also got a good battle going on between Mickelmore and Russell at the moment. Russell absolutely flying at the moment. He is really showing some good pace once more on these ovals. We've seen him and his teammates really come out strong this year, coming into the ANZCAR series for the first time this season, and really showing that they have got pace and they are ready to race.
Yeah, absolutely. Russell and Hobbo doing a good job, and Hobbo not out there tonight, of course, different to Brent Hobbs, but Hobbo not out there tonight, but Russell representing for the team, and currently up into 5th position, qualified at 4th, so just down one spot, but on much fresher tyres than Josh Mickelmore. So expect to see him continue to progress. He's got 3 seconds to Edward Foster, who's currently hassling the back of Ryan Jones, as Josh Mickelmore ducks down into pit lane, the first of our stoppers. So he is going to get his final service done here, but it continues to be a battle here. We've got Donnelly looking like he's coming under pressure from Nathan Clark as well, so these are going to continue to close up before we start getting through our second round of pit stops.
I was about to say, watch out, these cars are going to be coming into pit lane very shortly. We've got 29 laps remaining, so we are right on the bubble for coming in. Josh Mickelmore is very much on that, he's on a little bit of a danger zone coming in this early. He's going to be, he might just be a tiny bit light on fuel. So he might need to do a little bit of a fuel save in this stint to get to the very end. We did see Matty Raymond managing to get 32 laps of fuel out the car. Josh Mickelmore needs to get about 30 laps out of the car. So he just needs to push it a little bit. But we did see, of course, Matty Ray running out of fuel on that 32nd lap. So he's going to be on the bubble of fuel at the moment, I think. So he's going to probably want to save a tiny, tiny little bit. So we might just see him not push quite as hard over a couple of laps, or if he can slot in behind somebody, he'll make that work. Meanwhile, Foster has made the move on Ryan Jones. Foster is up into third place. Ryan Jones just getting up a little high and having to ease off a little bit into the start, just into the first corner. I think Jones just deciding that discretion was a better part of valour than just letting Foster through without putting too much of a fight on. So Jones has just dropped back, and this has given Russell a chance to catch up to them as well.
Yeah, so how long will they stick out here? Jones trying to get the draft behind Foster to stick with him. Get it on the same lap. Foster's got the benefit here of being in the draft for a number of laps, so he's going to be able to run a little bit longer than Ryan Jones, you feel, and he will do that because it'll mean less fuel in that last stop when he takes it. Currently things pretty stable out on the field. You've got Matty Raymond up now already. He's got past Brent Hobbs, so he is chasing down Nathan Rawlett, his teammate, who is currently about a second up the road. So he'll get that done. He'll make big progress here once these pit stops start taking place, because he, of course, pit on lap 32. So he still has around about 10 laps to go before he's going to jump through pit lane at the least. So, yeah, it's Matty Ray time, I think, on the stream.
Yeah, Matty Raymond's going to work out quite well. He's just caught up to his teammate as well in Rollock, who pitted a lap earlier than him. So those two are on very similar stints at the moment. So I imagine we're going to probably see them working together a little bit in this stint, working with each other to see how they can go, see what they can work out as this one goes on. The longer it goes green, the better for them at the moment. And if a caution decides to fly when everybody's coming to pit lane, then it's going to work out very well for them indeed.
Yeah, I was just scanning through the field. Dyson's closing up on the back of Martin. Probably with the traffic there, Martin's just managed to make his way through. If Dyson can get a good run through those who are in between, then you can see him there just down on the inside. Just going to benefit from the draft a little bit. He's dropped in behind Michael Shaw there, who's currently running down in 20th position. That has been lapped by Jason Martin. So just wait to see if he can use it through, as Aiden Schultz jumps into pit lane now. So he's had enough. He's going to get the new set of boots on. Shuri there just gets a little bit loose on the exit of the corner. Dyson just ducks down underneath him. Says thanks very much for moving out the way. And makes his way through.
Dyson lost a little bit of time just coming up behind Ryan Wooden there. Wooden was just caught a little bit off guard on where Dyson was going to go. Meanwhile, Foster just having a very close call with Igor Burkic, I think it was, just as they were getting past. So Foster's just having to ease off a bit, and that's given Ryan Jones the chance to get a little bit closer to him. So the battles are not over. We still have a long way to go in this race. We've still got 25 laps remaining, and we still have another set of green flag pit stops to go if it remains green.
Oh, jeez, it's Russell there. He's got it all crossed up, just trying to get the 28 stopped on his way into pit lane. I think he probably had one eye on whether or not he was going to pull up behind Ryan Jones, and the other eye on those cones at the entry to pit lane. And I don't know which eye got closer to the end there, but they would have certainly been splayed by the time he got in to pit lane. I think he's just got it pulled up there. So Jonesy and Russell into pit lane. This battle will resume. You can see them there pulling up nose to tail. So watch for these two as we get out of pit lane here. It'll be on. Who's going to take what? Jonesy's done right-hand side here. We're going to see left-hand side go up. Yes, we are indeed. So full set of tyres there on both cars. They'll be fueled to the end. That'll be quite a good battle as they both get out of pit lane at the same time as one another. So Russell there a little bit quicker in the stop, and it was 0.6, huge difference actually between the two, which has allowed him to close that gap up. Jonesy won't mind that. He'll run here and run hard from pit lane on the cold tyres. So this will be going to be a good battle to watch as we see Martin, Dyson, Foster, Donnelly and Phelps jump into pit lane to put Nathan Clark in effective race lead of this race.
Yeah, Ruben Phelps coming in a little bit earlier. He stayed out a lot longer last time round, so he could have gone a little bit longer if he wanted to. Choosing to come in now, though, so he doesn't lose too much time. So interesting decision from him. Really good drive from Jaden Russell. He was very much last of the late breakers coming into pit lane. Same as Andrew Dyson as well. He was very much on the brakes at the last minute, and that's closed him right up to the back of Jason Martin as they exit pit lane. So the battle for the effective lead of the race is going to be pretty tight as well. Martin and Dyson are right next to each other. You can see those two are right on each other at the moment as they're going to try and make a move on the exit of pit lane. They're going too wide on the exit there. Dyson is going to make a move on Martin out of the pit lane. And that is a cheeky move to make there from Dyson.
I'll tell you what, that is a first on FGM Ecast. A move on the exit of pit lane from Andrew Dyson. He did a little bit of Jim's mowing there on the exit too, but got the job done. That wouldn't have helped his cause at all. It would have hindered it more than anything else, trying to get drive off the grass on the exit there. So really good driving and awareness. I'm not sure Jason Martin will have ever said that he's been passed in pit lane on the exit either. So Andrew Dyson, my God, what a great move from him. Now in the lead of this race. He's going to open a gap up here on Jason Martin of around about half a second, just approaching a little bit of lap traffic as well, but he'll make his way through here. That's Josh Mickelmore in front of him. In fact, my apologies, it's not lap traffic whatsoever, and it's the effective race leader.
I was about to say, you may get a letter from that one from the Mickelmore family because, yeah, Josh Mickelmore in the lead there. He is actually on place advantage, but those tyres are a fair bit older, so that's going to hurt him out. You can see just behind him was Rolock and Raymond, so they have worked their way up just behind Jason Martin, so you can see how their strategy is sort of paying off now. They need a caution to come out to actually make this one work perfectly. But boy, what a move from Dyson. That is a very, very brave thing to do. Very, you may even say, a very foolhardy thing to do. Very confident thing to do, but also a very cheeky thing to do as well.
There's a little bit of damage on Dyson's car there as well. So at some stage he's touched the wall up a little bit on that rear panel. So a really, really good drive from him today. Not unexpected at all. As you just see there, he brushes the wall again, so he's pushing extremely hard. He knows how strong Jason Martin is in that 21-inch motorsport entry and thinks he's got to go. 22 laps here to go, 21 effectively, as we're more than halfway through this lap, and it's going to be quite a battle at the end of this race. It wouldn't surprise me if we're 3 wide across the finish line.
Yeah, but that's it. It's going to come down to the finish of this one. We've got 21 laps remaining, and these cars are absolutely flying now. Watch out for Ryan Jones. He's ahead of Jaden Russell and Foster at the moment. Ryan Jones is going to be going full Ryan Jones mode, I'd say, and trying his best to catch up to Mickelmore, try even catch up to Martin and Dyson. Maybe a little bit harder. Oh, into the wall goes... into the wall goes Ben Vickers right in front of Andrew Dyson. That was a scary moment. That could have been a big moment for the race, but he managed to keep it up there. He did not drive down. He did a great job of saving that truck from hitting the leaders. Good driving from Ben Vickers there. Good idea of where he was as well. So good save from him. As Dyson just touches the wall once more. Dyson is absolutely flogging this car at the moment. Stephen Williams and Christopher Finlay in pit. Simon Mazzemo is in the lead at the moment. He's going to get a leading lap for this one. And Mazzemo is going to probably stick it out there for as long as possible. He's probably going to come in around about lap 60, I would say. But he's going to be hoping for a late caution to help him out.
Absolutely, fastest man on the track at the moment is Edward Foster. They're currently down 53.51 last time around, so he is right up on the back of Jaden Russell and Ryan Jones. A little bit of damage to the right-hand rear corner of Ryan Jones in the 111 entry. So look out for Foster here to make a move down underneath both of them. They're coming up on Ben Vickers as well. Vickers there just got to stay in that high line as Jaden Russell looks for a way around Ryan Jones as well, but Vickers does exactly what he needs to do to continue this battle between the 111 of Ryan Jones, 28 of Russell, and the 53 of Edward Foster. This is the battle here for 5th, 6th and 7th. Effectively the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th with just a pit order taken into consideration as Jones pulls out there to break the draft on Russell behind him. I'm not sure that's going to work with Foster right behind Russell as well, helping push him along. That's a switch down to the inside.
Jones has just lost traction there. He just started to swing around that back end, started to swing out on him mid-corner. They go 3 wide through turn number 2, but Jones is going to lose a lot of speed. He's got a lot of damage on the front panel as well there for Ryan Jones. I'm not sure when that happened. He's got a bit more damage than when I last saw him, but this race is definitely on at the moment. Do you see he's getting passed by Russell and Foster now on the inside?
Yeah, this is going to be a job done here for Edward Foster. He'll get the move done. Russell's already done that now, so he'll be thinking about getting up onto Josh Micklemore in front of him as Jones there just slides in behind Edward Foster into effective position 5 and 6. And you can see that Russell already breaking the gap. He is on his way in pursuit of Josh Micklemore. Up the front, Andrew Dyson has now got a Jason Martin now 4 tenths behind him. Martin a lot quicker on that last lap around, 2 tenths in fact. So that gap there has closed up ever so slightly at the front. You can see Martin now well and truly in the ascendancy behind Andrew Dyson. So that little bit of damage may be going to be a factor now for Dyson as Martin runs through in that very clean Mitch Motorsport entry. Simon Mazzomo jumps into pit lane. That'll finalise our adjusted pit entry order, except for Matty Raymond, who's currently running down in 8th position. So Dyson, Martin, Micklemore, your front 3 here on FGM eCars for ANZCAR Truck Series on a Monday night.
Look at how close Martin is at the moment. He is all over the back of Dyson. Martin wants to get the lead of this race back. He loves Indianapolis as well, so he's going to be desperate to try and get this one closed out for himself. He is really pushing hard. We've also got to remember championship is important here as well. Jason Martin is currently 2nd in the championship with Foster in 1st. These cars are looking really tricky to drive as well now. They're just starting to get a little bit loose on the fronts. A little bit tight on the fronts. Just starting to struggle that little bit. As track temperature, I think, has gone up. It's now 47 degrees. I think it was about 30 something when we started the broadcast. So the track temperature has gone up, which is going to be causing a lot of struggle for these guys.
Yeah, you're spot on, Carl. I think we're 38 on the way into the race tonight, now 47 degrees. As Jason Martin now right up all over the back of Andrew Dyson. He's going to look to put a move on him down the inside here into turn 1, and he's going to get it done relatively easily there, Jason Martin. So pushing hard there, Andrew Dyson, with that extra damage that he's got on there, albeit minor. It's just proving the difference.
Mirroring that move is a little bit further behind Foster and Russell at the moment. Foster is trying to mirror that move. He can't quite get it done on Russell as they get right up to the back of Josh Micklemore as well. So the battle for 3rd is definitely on. You can see it's going to be Micklemore, Russell, Foster, all in this battle. Jones has dropped off a little bit as it stands. Just that front damage really hurting him at the moment. Josh Micklemore suffering from coming in that little bit earlier than the rest of them on those slightly older tyres. He's going to be struggling a little bit. About 5 laps older tyres than the guys behind him. And of course, he might just have to save a little bit more fuel as well. So that could hinder him a little bit. But you can see Russell and Foster are right on the back of him at the moment. We've got 15 to go here at Indianapolis. Jason Martin leads, Andrew Dyson 2nd, Josh Micklemore 3rd, but for how long?
Yeah, absolutely. Who am I to question the godfather of ANZCAR? But I think here to play for Foster probably would be to sit behind Russell. They're both going to catch Josh Micklemore. As you say, he's got to manage fuel as well as those older tyres, and then sit there in the, albeit a little bit of a hotter air in the 53, and go with Russell here. Try and get the double done. In fact, that's what he's looking to do now. Foster trying to get down underneath Russell and block him in behind Josh Micklemore and get 2 for the price of 1 here. Is he going to be able to do it? Not quite get under Micklemore, but he does get the job done on Jaden Russell. So he'll be now looking to make hay while the sun shines if he can and get in front of Josh Micklemore as quickly as possible. Edward Foster up into 4th position.
He's going to want to try and block Russell in behind Micklemore for a little bit, just so he can get some breathing space as well. And he's going to get underneath Micklemore here on down the front straight. Russell joins him on that low line. They're going to push Micklemore up wide. That's going to lose him a little bit of time. And you can see Foster's just straight underneath him here. Micklemore and Russell are going to battle on the exit. Russell is going to get Micklemore through the next corner, though. Not much Micklemore can do right here, unfortunately. Those tyres are a little bit too old to put up a good fight, but this has helped Foster get a little bit of a jump over Russell. Russell will want to try and get that draft back working for him and try and catch up. See how that one goes.
As Matty Raymond and Ben Vickers jump into pit lane. In fact, Ben Vickers has been there for a little while now, but Matty Raymond just getting through his final stop. That's dropped him down to 17th. A long strategy. Fortunately, not playing out for him tonight. He is going to be on fresh tyres, however, so see how much time he can make up. As, well, I look at it, Norm Clark and Gary Wellman battling away. This is for position 15 and 16 in the race. Both these drivers have completed their final pit stop, so this is for position. As Norm Clark gets the move done there on Gary Wellman, moves himself up into 15th.
Yeah, driver I want to point out is the driver that was leading a few laps ago, Simon Mazzomo in the 051. He decided to take it a bit longer and play a slightly longer game, and it's worked out very well for him, actually. He's up into 11th place now. He's looking good to work his way up into the top 10. He could be challenging drivers. So I'd say he'd be probably challenging for P9, maybe P8 in this race come to the conclusion. So Mazzomo having a good run on his strategy. It worked out quite well for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Kate Donnelly here is going to have a very fast closing. Ruben Phelps up in behind him. Phelps last time around matching the lap time a little bit there, but lap before that was keeping an eye on it. Phelps quicker, so he is trying to close in here. Aidan Schultz might be susceptible as well. He stopped on lap 49, one of the early pit stop entrants, but Kate Donnelly and Phelps on 51, so he may well come under pressure about 2.5 seconds up the road from this battle, and it wouldn't put it past Donnelly here to potentially make his way up into 6th position. We've got 12 laps to go, so a little bit of work to do, but Ryan Jones falling away here and does have to manage fuel a little bit as well, so we'll see. Ryan Jones doesn't, my apologies. Josh Micklemore having to manage fuel as well, so the potential there for a 5th place, I think, for these guys.
Yeah, that's it. The race is definitely looking good for some, and it's working out for a few drivers that played a slightly different strategy cards, which is what we love to see. We love to see counter strategies working out. We've got 10 laps remaining here at Indianapolis, and at the moment Jason Martin is leading. He is ahead of Andrew Dyson. Dyson is trying his best to get back up behind Jason Martin, but that damage to the front of the car is causing him a little bit of a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Just unfortunate there for Daiso. He's run strong all night, but that damage is going to hurt him a little bit. Having said that, last time around he was a 10th quicker than Dyson, so maybe just dropping off for those few laps, letting Dyson lead, just helped him a little bit there, preserve a little bit of tyre life, and we'll see how this one pans out. Edward Foster about 8 seconds behind, so they've got plenty of gap for the battle for first place here on the Indianapolis event that we've got happening, so we'll see how they go. Can Martin hold out for the win for Mitch Motorsport, or will it be Andrew Dyson here? It's going to come right down to the last lap, I suspect.
Yeah, these two are going to be battling out as much as they can, but you got to say Jason Martin is he's a very cool head on those shoulders. He's going to do his best. You see Troy Davidson now coming under pressure from Mazzomo. Mazzomo going to go down the inside and get that position from Davidson. Mazzomo working his way up into the top 10 now. And next on his list is going to be Ruben Phelps. A fair bit up the road. Will he be able to make that time through the race? He's got to make about 10 seconds now, which is easier said than done.
Aidan Schultz is close right up on the back of Ryan Jones here as well. So Aidan Schultz on slightly older tyres as well, but still closing up on the back of Jonesy. So this is the battle here for 6th and 7th between the 111 entry and the 52 Crank Esports entry. Jonesy moves down the inside there. Suspect that's that damage that he's got right down the right-hand side of the 111 that's really making him susceptible here. He's losing a lot of time And Aiden Schultz won't be too long before he moves his way up into 6th position.
Yeah, that's it. He's really struggling with that front end of the car, Ryan. Unfortunately, really good run from him tonight, but just hitting that front end has cost him a lot of time there, and he is starting to struggle a little bit in the straight line speed. And you can see Aiden Schultz just dying away. Ryan Jones trying to break the toe as much as possible, but unable to do much. Going to see Schultz going up on the high side. Ryan Jones keeping that low line, so that's going to give him the advantage through the corner for the moment. Schultz just tapping the corner there, just tapping the curb, which is not what you want to do. That's going to cost him a little bit of time there. Schultz, he's going to drop back a little bit right now, but he can afford to take a little bit of a breather and then go back on the attack of Ryan Jones, who's going to be struggling with straight line speed. You can see Ryan Jones all over the track trying to break that toe at the moment, unable to do much. You can see the speed advantage that Schultz has at the moment. It's a couple of kilometers, about 5-10 kilometers per hour. It looks like from that position, it is quite a big speed advantage. While these two are battling, though, it is helping out Kate Donnelly and Ruben Phelps close right up to these guys, really, really helping them out get nice and close for this battle.
Yeah, they're going to get involved here for sure. As you see, Donnelly there ducking down the low line. Schultz is trying to go with him. So here, it's just a matter of... sorry, my apologies, Phelps going with him. It's a matter here of how long Ryan Jones can hold out and get maybe that 6th position for every metre of the track that this battle continues. Donnelly and Phelps closing in. It's going to be within the draft shortly, Will K. Donnelly. So he'll be trailing, as you can see there, Aiden Schultz as he moves all over the track. Schultz here going the high line. He's just not... I'm not sure he's going to be able to get that to work. Just doesn't seem to be the extra pace there. They go too wide here. Schultz can carry this out. He's going to get the advantage down the straight. He does so. And it looks like he's going to be able to close this one out. Should get better exit speed. And he's got it done. Great move, Aiden Schultz. Around the outside on Ryan Jones to move up into 6th position.
Yeah, this is critical for Schultz because this means that he's got a chance of possibly catching up to Josh Micklemore with 6 laps to go. He's really got to push it now to try and catch up to Josh to try and get that P5 position. Meanwhile, out front, Jason Martin still leads Andrew Dyson. That battle is about half a second at the moment, so it's very close there. But the main action at the moment is Ryan Jones, Cade Donnelly and Ruben Phelps. That's going to be the main battle. While these guys are fighting, it's really helping out Mazomo, who is catching up to this fight quite quickly. So the more that this group fights, the better it is for Mazomo. It might give him the chance to get up an extra position or two.
Yeah, absolutely. Donnelly here looking like he wants to get the move done quickly on Ryan Jones as well. So Jones just falling away a little bit here. He was 7/10 slower than Kate Donnelly on the last time around. You can see Donnelly there not being bashful whatsoever. He's just ducked right down on the inside line, said no thank you. I'm on my way through here. Don't mind if I do. A little bute of contact there, almost, and there is contact there. This could bring out the first caution of the race. How are we getting on? No, it looks like it hasn't. Jones has saved it. That ute is stuffed, but he's going to try and save it if he can. Not bring out a caution with 5 laps to go. That's very good driving from Jones. He'll be disappointed with the contact there, but he's not brought out the caution. And you'll see how he goes getting that thing round. It didn't look like I wanted to be very compliant whatsoever. But see how he goes here into turn 1. Thought it might have broken something there, but...
That started with Kate Donnelly, just Ryan Jones and Kate Donnelly making a little bit of contact there with each other as well, and that sort of cost that battle. But the caution flag not flying, which is going to be a saviour for some, and for some it's just going to be a moment of, oh no. That would have been nice to see the caution flag fly there for us. Didn't quite come out for them, but it's kept this race green. We've got 4 more laps remaining. Martin is in the lead, but he has Dyson all over the back of him at the moment. Dyson's decided now is the time to start putting the pressure on Jason Martin, the Mitch Motorsport car, fighting the DPR car of Dyson at the moment. This is going to be a pretty fun fight towards the end of the race, I reckon.
Absolutely, as we're on board here with Andrew Dyson. Just looking at the back of the Mitch Motorsport car, of course, Dyson our pole sitter, Martin in second. So these two have been trading the entire night. And Dyson here hoping that he's left his run to exactly the right moment But Martin running up the front will have spent a little more tyre to stay there. Dyson able to save and maybe get the job done here as we get around. It's going to be 3 to go here at Indianapolis. So on board with Andrew Dyson. What does he do heading down into turn 1? He's not close enough yet to make the run, so he's just going to bide his time. He'll have a plan, I'm sure, as to when he's going to try and put the move on Jason Martin in the Mitch Motorsport entry.
Look, it's sometimes better to be in second place at the 500 than it is to be in the lead towards the end of this race. If you can get that draft working for you, if you can get that car working in a straight line, you can slingshot yourself around and take the win at the line. We've seen it happen a number of times here at the Indianapolis circuit. Will we see it again from Dyson? Is he going to be able to make it work? That's the question. Will Jason Martin make a slight mistake and allow it to work? There is a lot of pressure on Jason Martin at the moment in the purple Mitch Motorsport car, and he's being really pressured by Andrew Dyson in the DPR. Very good fight from these two, and it is going to be down to the wire.
Yeah, indeed it is. So we'll stick with this battle, keeping an eye on things behind Aiden Schultz, Kate Donnelly. We'll just quickly skip back here. I know we've got 2 to go, but Aiden Schultz under pressure from Kate Donnelly as well, so it's another close battle on track that we will keep an eye on with 2 to go. But it is Jason Martin and Andrew Dyson, 2 tenths between them. Currently at the start, at the lead of this race. Dyson all over the back of Jason Martin. And you can see there how close it is. He's all over him here. He's trying to get the draft down. He's gone duck down right on the bottom line. I'm not sure what he's going to do here. He's just trying to show the nose everywhere. Potentially get Martin to make a mistake if he can. Dyson goes high, low, high. Not able to get it done there. There's 2 tenths here, bumper to bumper. As we're going to get around, it's going to become into the final lap of this race. It's been 74 laps of green flag racing. It's come down to 2 tenths between Jason Martin and Andrew Dyson as the white flag waves, and it is Martin who receives it in the Mitch Motorsport 21 entry, but Andrew Dyson looking to get the job done here. He's just got to get a good exit, get a run on and make a decision about when he's going to make the challenge here as we head down through turn 2. We're still only a tenth between them. It's nose to tail here. He's going to go, he's gone high side here. He's gone high side. He's just up next to him. That'll unsettle the 21 a little bit there as they're corner to corner. You can see there. He's going to try and get the move done around the outside. Is he going to be able to get it done? He goes side by side here. Andrew Dyson, we're down in through turn 3. He's got a good run on the outside. It's going to be very close here. He closes him out. Andrew Dyson takes the lead of this race on the second but last corner. And here we go for the run to the flag. Andrew Dyson's going to steal it on the last corner. There's a little bit of a drag race, but I don't think that's going to help, unfortunately, for Jason Martin. And it's Andrew Dyson who gets across the line for the win here in the 041 at Indianapolis. Well done, Andrew Dyson. A great race from him. Well managed. Jason Martin takes second. And it's going to be Edward Foster crossing the line there in third in the 53 Natari Autosport entry.
Yeah, Dyson was just practicing that the lap before. He was seeing whether the car was going to go faster up or down. He was testing out which line was the faster one for him, which was going to give him the draft to actually work it out. That is why he was going left and right towards the end there, and that worked out perfectly for Andrew Dyson. As I said, it's better to be in second place than the lead sometimes here at Indianapolis, and Dyson has proven it once more. What a fantastic victory from Andrew Dyson.
Yeah, great drive there, showing, dare I say, experience beyond his experience in oval track racing. A fantastic run from him there, managing to survivor, one of the more experienced ANZCAR runners there, and Jason Martin. A great drive from him in the Mitch Motorsport 21 entry, and from Edward Foster in third position. But it is Andrew Dyson in the Simrigs.com DPR entry who takes back-to-back truck wins, actually, and he just getting in the damage there down the front straight, but back-to-back wins here in the trucks.
Yeah, always fun. Simon Mazzomo might be in for a penalty, as he said that these trucks are much more fun to race on the Indianapolis circuit than the Indy cars. So a steward inquiry may have to go into that one for Mazzomo. He might receive a few finger wags and a few nasty letters for that, mentioning that. That's a sacrilegious thing to say.
Yeah, absolutely. It can't be more fun than what you're actually running in on the night. That's for sure.
Disgraceful. But great run from him, getting to P9 in the end. He did a great run there. 7 positions gained, one of the higher gainers of the night. The biggest gainer of the night was, unsurprisingly, Matty Raymond in 17th position, gaining 11 spots during that race. But Simon Mazzemo getting up into the top 10, a really good, strong drive from him using that counter strategy as well. So let us run through the finishing order of this race. It was Andrew Dyson taking the win there on the last lap from Jason Martin. Edward Foster in third with Jaden Russell in fourth. Josh Micklemore holding on in the end. A really good result from him. Strong drive, strong finish from fifth to fifth position for Micklemore. Aidan Schultz finished in sixth position with Kate Donnelly seventh, eighth for Phelps, ninth for Mazzomo, 11th for Stephen Williams. We had Troy Davidson in 10th, Christopher Fennelly 12th, 13th for Ryan Jones, 14th for Patton, 15th for Norman Clark, 16th for Wellman, Raymond in 17th, 18th for Hobbs, Rolock 19th, 20th for Shaw, Woden in 21st, Ben Vickers 22nd, Taylor in 23rd, Tompkins 24th, strong result for him, 25th for Burkick, Nathan Clark 26th, Priest 27th, 28th for Dylan, and that was the final order of the runners.
Absolutely. So let's get our final three of the podium into the booth here. Callum, I'll let you take it away tonight.
Yeah, let's grab them up. And we'll start with the third place finisher, Edward Foster. Edward Foster, congratulations on that P3 finish.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
A solid run for you out there tonight. You made a few positions out there, 5 in the end. Obviously, I imagine you would have preferred to qualify a little bit higher.
Yeah, it's the same old story with me in Indy. I can't put a hot lap together to qualify well, but the race pace, especially the longer run pace, seems to be okay. So, yeah, kind of what I was expecting, same old story. Bit of a shame I probably wound up battling some guys earlier on that kind of, let that gap blow out to the two guys in front a little bit too far for me to maybe stick my nose in there and have a go. I don't think I would have necessarily finished any higher, but it would have been nice to sort of be a little bit closer to it, maybe get a bit amongst it while those guys were battling, but yeah, not to be. So congratulations to those two, and we'll just take third.
Yeah, that's it. Were you a bit surprised not to see a caution fly tonight?
Not really. This place is fairly easy in the truck. You have to mess up pretty bad to hit anything. It's just a case of keeping the right front tyre on it and dealing with the looseness in the first couple of laps and getting on and off pit road well. And apart from that, it's pretty well. It's not as challenging to get around here in one of these as it is in, say, an Xfinity car, for example. So, yeah, I'm not that surprised to see us go clean.
Congratulations on the P3 finish. Ed, as usual shout out and love to your sponsors.
Yeah. So FGM eCast, obviously, emblazoning the truck with some bright yellow. And, of course, Race Magazine, Two Fat Blokes, Bridgestone Select, and AJ Insurance Services as well. And, of course, congratulations to the two that finished ahead of me.
Thank you so much, Edward Foster, there, P3 finish. Next up, we will head to the second place man. It was looking to be first for most of that final lap, but pipped to the post at the very end. Jason Martin, congratulations on P2, mate.
Oh, cheers, mate. That was a good race.
We know you like Indianapolis. You tend to run pretty well around here, but it looked like you had an absolute battle on your hand all race long from that young gun, that newcomer, Mr. Andrew Dyson.
Once I got in front of him, I started to pull away a little bit, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to pull away. I'm going to get this. But then the last 10 laps or so, he started hauling me back in, and I knew I was in trouble then because it's a bit easier to save tyres when you're behind. So, yeah, I knew I was going to struggle once you got that close.
Yeah, we saw you had some good speed early on, which is not a huge surprise if anyone knows you. Really good pace from there, but it's sort of, you got caught out a little bit in those final pit stops as well. I might just bring Andrew up for this one. Bit of a surprise overtake on the pit exit.
Yeah, sure was. Wasn't expecting that, but he was desperate to get out in front, so I was happy to let him go and try and save tyres.
A little bit of a cheeky move, but it definitely gave us some fun on the broadcast. With that final pit stop as well, we saw Dyson was a bit later on the brakes. Did you just feel like maybe you were just taking a little bit too cautious coming into pit lane, or were you happy with the pit stop there?
you know how much trouble I used to have with pit stops, always sliding through or doing something stupid. So I take it a bit more careful these days.
No, good to hear, and I'm glad it went well for you, because, yeah, I do remember the old Jason Martin pit stops. It's good to see they are no longer a thing. We don't even call them Jason Martin-esque pit stops anymore. As usual, Jason, usual shout-out and love to sponsors.
I got to thank BK Designs, the boys at Mitch Motorsports, you guys, FMG eCast, for putting on the broadcast, and to all the guys racing tonight, and Andrew Dyson for the great win.
Thank you so much, Jason Madden, Mitch Motorsport. Congratulations on the P2 finish. We look forward to seeing you again soon. Next up, we will head to the race winner, a very cheeky drive at some points, but extremely fast drive from Andrew Dyson, race winner. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm not sure how cheeky that was, because I wasn't sure if you're allowed to do that sort of thing on the pit exit. It was more opportunistic than anything, but maybe I'll get in trouble for if it's not the right thing to do. But that was a lot of fun anyway.
You're fine.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you're fine. As I said, we'll go with cheeky for that one, because, yeah, it was a fun move to watch for sure. Your pit stops, you were absolutely nailing them.
Yeah, I mean, so was Jason, but I think on that last run into the pit stops there, yeah, he got held up a little bit, I think, with another car right in front of him. He may have forgot about that, but there was definitely a car in front of him, and I think it balked him up a little bit. So that's probably what made me catch up a heap. So that's what gave me a chance to do something a bit cheeky on the pit exit, but or opportunistic, really, from my point of view. But that's probably what happened there. So I can't really take anything away from Jason. Not really his fault, but it was an awesome race either way, the whole way through it. Everyone was like, racing really close and clean, and yeah, it was good stuff.
Look, we saw some great speed out of you once again, and well, another victory for you as well, and another oval victory as well. How good is that to have come your way?
Well, it's nice to be on the pace. That's great. I think I came in a bit late tonight, so I've got to give the boys a bit of credit. They threw in a different setup tonight for the trucks here, and it was actually awesome. It was so well balanced and rotated real nicely, and held its balance really awesome throughout the stint. So that made it easier. But yeah, I'm probably slightly biased. That's probably my favourite win on an oval so far. Mainly probably because I won, but either way, it still would have been my favourite race so far because of how close it was and how much of a battle it was the whole way. It was awesome.
Yeah, and just sort of finally, we saw you pushing really hard, just getting a little bit of contact with the walls throughout the race. Yeah. Obviously, that doesn't help you out much, but do you feel like that cost you a little bit of time towards the end, or didn't it affect you too much?
Well, yeah, I first touched the fence just on the lap before I pitted in the last time, and I thought, oh no, I've done it now, I better pit. And I had 12 seconds of optionals, and I thought, I'm not going to get none of that done. But after that, I swear I wasn't getting that close to the wall, but it was like the back of the car kept touching the fence. And it was like, I felt like the car must have been bent outwards towards the fence or something. It was really strange because I didn't think I was getting close to the wall, but maybe my spatial awareness is like off kilter or something. But it might have hampered me a little bit, but because I was in the draft with Jason, it probably didn't that much, so it was okay.
Yeah, no, I did say finally, but I just wanted to ask one more question. Actually, we saw you making a little bit of a practice run on that final, well, with one lap to go as well. Was that just seeing which side of Jason's car was going to be quicker to overtake, or was it a little bit of a wiggle just to see what was happening?
No, I thought that was my chance, actually. I thought, this is when I'm going to get it done, but I had a really good run, and he might have had the front end disturbed by a bit of air from the car ahead, or lack of air from the car ahead. And I thought, here's my chance. I've got a bit of a run here. But then he kind of used that car as well to get a bit of a tow down the straight, so I didn't quite get there, and I thought that was it. But, yeah, no, I managed to get a run on the next lap, and that's what got us side by side.
No, congratulations again. I think second victory in the truck series this year. Again, another victory for you in ANZCAR as well. You've been absolutely doing a great job, and getting a win here at Indianapolis is a fantastic one to achieve as well.
Yeah, thanks, man. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy racing with these guys, and it's pretty addictive. So that's why I probably keep coming back.
So awesome to hear. As usual, Andrew, it's the usual shout out and love to sponsors.
Yeah, all the names on the car. We see them every week. Even if I'm not in the booth, I'm sure you guys are out there because I'm either crashing or doing half all right. yeah, thanks to all the guys at FGM, you guys, for putting on the broadcast, and of course all the guys at ANZCAR for putting on these races every week, which no one has to pay a cent for. They do it out of their own pocket, so it's awesome, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Andrew Dyson. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us tonight. We hope to see you back soon. Hope to see you back in the booth in a short period as well. Good luck for the next few races.
No worries. Thanks, guys, and thanks again, and congrats to Ed and Jace too.
Stuart, a great race there at the end. What a brilliant finish.
Yeah, I mean, it shows you my inexperience. I was expecting there to be carnage out there tonight, but Ed Foster saying basically if you can't drive a truck here cleanly, you can't drive. So it shows you how much I know. But we saw there an absolutely fantastic finish from Dyson Martin, and a really strong performance from Ed Foster as well. So championship-wise, we'll need to keep an eye out for the numbers that will come across our screens in the next few days to see how that alters things as we've got 4 rounds to go here in the ANZCAR Truck Series Season 2 2021 before we crown a new champion.
Yeah, it's going to bring it a lot closer between Foster and Martin for sure. Josh Micklemore as well. He's still within the shout. He's close. Coming into this round, I think he was only 31 points down, so he is still very much creeping around there. But it's going to be interesting coming towards the end of the season with those guys in that battle.
Absolutely. So that does bring things to a close here tonight for the ANZCAR Truck Series on FGM eCars. We're back tomorrow night from 7:45 for round 2 of the Oz Pro-Am Sim Series coming to you from Watkins Glen. That is going to be a good one. The GT3s back on your screens. I'm expecting a field of 60 cars, maximum grid there as well. So it's going to be a fun one for us, Carl, to try and keep up with again like it was last week. But looking forward to that, of course, back Wednesday night with the Xfinity cars in the Thunder Series, and then Thursday for the Cup.
Going to Atlanta for the Cup and Xfinity this week. So again, going to be some fun oval racing once more for the close of the week here on FGM eCast. As always, a big shout out to all of you guys for coming to join us tonight. We cannot do it without you guys watching, so a big thank you to you all.
Absolutely. From all of us here on FGM eCast, thanks for watching FGM eCast, your E-Place for Pace. We'll see you tomorrow night, 7:45, same place, and we look forward to catching you then. Good night.